Welcome back to a new video. So I might have to regress things today a little bit. Yesterday I kind of had the same feeling. I lifted well, so maybe I'll lift well, but kind of configuring the session as I go. The goal for snatches is just 80 kilograms, so nothing crazy, but I want to do a pause power snatch and then a pause snatch of the full one. And I added a snatch balance on there. I'm probably honestly going to take that off because I did some overhead squats yesterday and I want to do a good amount of squats today. Then I'm going to do pause power clean, pause clean, and then I originally put push jerk plus jerk, but I'm just going to do two jerks and then do the squat volume. Theoretically, I would do multiple sets of 5 at 150, but this all could be scaled down if something like, quad tendon's not like giving me issues, but like if it starts to feel bad, and I did squat pretty heavy yesterday, so there's going to be have to be some give and take to some of these sessions as I continue to progress on different days, and some give and take. So should still be able to snatch pretty well. I mean, you never know how the body really is going to feel until you're done. I did actually achieve 10,000 steps today. I didn't have any kindergarten today, so I kept going. It was cloudy like it is now, and I kept going outside to recess because I didn't have anything else to do and just hanging out there. The other days I could have, when I didn't have class, go out there, but it was just super hot and muggy, so I was kind of uncomfortable. I still went out several times, though. Like today I actually just kept going outside and walking Bendy the dog at school and doing all that, just trying to just move around, so I just didn't sit and do nothing entirely. Tomorrow will be a full day. All the kids, all the classes will be there. Double classes for most of the day. So tomorrow will be a tiring day. Tomorrow is also Friday. Or no, Thursday. Oh, not Friday. Tomorrow's Thursday. So 2 more days. So it's definitely an adjustment going from having students twice in a week to 5. But thankfully, with some of the classes that weren't here, it's kind of scaled up. Or scaling up to like full rosters and whatnot. I didn't do any pull-ups or anything this morning, so I was lazy. But I was just kind of moving slow this morning and didn't want to try to rush through it and make myself late just to do pull-ups. Back doesn't feel too bad, but it's not like it magically got cured from one day of no pull-ups. Never feels as bad as I think. It's going to be achy, and it's just not. Nothing was achy there, so it's kind of funny how that works. But I'm just going to jump right into snatches. I have a pretty decent history with doing pause lifts and doing them pretty well. Not with powers, but with just fulls. I've gotten up to 123 in the snatch with a pause. With straps. Not that it really matters for a lift like that, but it's also really pressed out the left side, I remember. For pause cleans, I can almost guarantee I've done 150 plus. It's not a particularly difficult lift for me to do for cleans. Probably also because my back is strong, so holding that position isn't that difficult. It doesn't wear me out. But it is good for me to do because it forces my feet to be balanced and makes the pull correct. And because I have that dynamic start off the ground, it's kind of like a good practice lift in a sense, because you have to pull it obviously correctly, otherwise it's going to feel, you know, really off if you're forward or whatever. And obviously if you're too far back, you're just going to bang it off your leg. So it's a good kind of like balance for your pull no matter how you do pulls, but especially for someone like me that likes to do it more dynamic. Now these sessions where I don't have equipment on, I guess I'm not trying to rip myself down in a position, but I don't know, I guess kind of usually like to have my legs up and have some sort of dynamic start. But let's go ahead and I'm not going to do the snatch balances. I'm just going to focus on the snatches today. It's like I'm shocked every day. That's like, wow, nothing really. I mean, like I'm sore, but I feel like I have to say that same thing. I'm sore, but I'm not hurting. It's an important distinction, though, when you're lifting, because soreness doesn't hurt. Pain hurts. Right? Quote of the century: pain hurts. But I mean, if you know, you know. If you lift, you know the difference of something's a little tight or sore versus like that hurts, and it's kind of, something hurts, it distracts you, or you can't do something. Soreness is just a Wednesday. But I don't know. I had more coffee before I trained today, so I'm on performance enhancing drugs still. Unfortunate. I just like coffee so much. It's nice to like, I think that actually that like the decaf, like if I have the same amount, then I don't have to worry about the brewing patterns, and it's instant coffee. And I just warm up some water and have it ready, and I know I'm not gonna have to worry about the brewing patterns being different because it's literally the same measuring thing to go in. It's the most stable way if you want to have coffee as your pre-workout. Instant is the best way to have it, so it's a consistent caffeine amount. I had a professor in college, Dr. Lowry, and did a lot of research with caffeine and protein, and I remember reading some of the research he did with caffeine, and it was talking about how if you get coffee from like Starbucks, just like a normal like hot coffee or whatever, for whether Starbucks or wherever, like the caffeine content can vary tremendously. I forget what the exact number was, but it was so varying that it wasn't good for studies. You couldn't get like one large cup of coffee from different places and compare it because they just varied so much. But instant coffee was very consistent, and so that's what he used. And the research he was doing for caffeine was just, you know, power output and stuff like that. But it was you obviously need to know how much caffeine someone's getting, and that's an easy way to get caffeine, you know, instant coffee, instead of giving someone like a caffeine pill or something like that. And I think he might have was looking at coffee in particular. I forget that part, but I remember caffeine good, protein good, deep squats good, things I learned in college. I guess I learned how to be a teacher a little bit too. I learned a couple things. 3 of them fitness, 1 of them practical. Alright, let's go ahead and do 60 here. Very good. Just need more chalk on my hands. Boom, boom, boom. think I'm weird. Actually, I don't really think. I kind of have a lot of evidence to support that claim. But people I work with want to celebrate my birthday or do whatever, and I just don't. I've lied about my birthday before, not like how old I am, but like the date. Because it's always at the beginning of the school year, in like the first couple weeks. And it's at the end of August, so it's always, I've never cared about it, I guess is a good way to describe it. Because like, it's not like I dislike it or I'm like, I'm getting old or whatever. Because that's arbitrary, you know, the birthday. Like, I'm getting old regardless of whenever my birthday is. But I've just never been a big birthday guy. I've never like went out and, you know, partied or whatever. And as a kid, like, we would have birthday parties, but I was not advocating like, I want to go to this place or do this thing. We would have get-togethers, and my brother's a similar birthday, got born like a couple weeks after me, birthday-wise. He's younger, but we usually combine our birthdays, and so our family would come over and whatnot, and that was always fine with me. It seems practical and convenient. Get it both out of the way. I like that, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like indifference. I think is maybe the best way. It's just a date to me, and I think it's also like I don't like attention in that regard. I don't want attention. Like, if I could just not tell anyone my birthday ever where I work at school, then I would be good with that. And I've done that many times. Any forms we have to turn in, usually there's like informational form, medical form, stuff like that. Most workplaces probably have something similar. I turn it in after my birthday because it's, you know, turning in September. I'm good, and you know, if they want to do something after, you know, I've done my part to try to prevent it, but I don't know what makes me weird about that, but they want to do lunch or something, I'm like, I just don't. That's my birthday gift. Just let me be. Just let me just eat my beef and rice. I like my food. I don't want to get a special lunch and then everyone's like, oh, happy birthday. I just don't want it. I think it's the attention. I don't like it. But we'll go ahead and I do that, and I post, you know, every one of my workouts online. So you can see I'm a very non-contradictory person, but that in-person attention, it'd be cool to get a video with like 10,000 views, but if I had 10,000 people watching me, I'd be catatonic. Alright. Let's make this 80 feel good and make it look good. It felt slightly early, but I don't really think it was. I mean, maybe it was very slightly, but I don't know. I think it's just like that extra depth that I go without any equipment on. It feels a little weird. But we'll do a tactical reset, because I know I didn't do one yet. 14 minutes. Whew. But certainly happy. It's like I just get in this mood where I'm like touching the bar, like I don't even know if I want to lift, and then I move and I'm like, I feel fine. We're good. One other weird thing that I noticed today, and I think it might just be the watch, the fitness watch, Google Pixel watch I have on, that might be a little bit off, but a couple different times during the day, my heart rate was in the mid 60s, which is nothing to like brag about, but due to the nature of my job, I'm usually moving a lot, and so usually it's like in the 70s, and I don't really necessarily care about my heart rate in terms of like lowering it, but I noticed it was like during the day in the mid 60s, and it was interesting because usually that's like, after I have my coffee and I'm up and going, I'm, sitting in the morning at work, then it'll be there. But that was like it right in the middle of the day. So I don't know if that was just a watch or if like my perception of feeling like I'm getting through these sessions easier and like recovering better is actually like coinciding with the fact that like that heart rate thing. I would say there's probably is some correlation there because like these sessions are feeling easier, recovering between sets and stuff, and I'm also like talking during them, which is makes recovery just a little bit more difficult because I'm not just sitting here and like huffing and puffing. But recording these kind of videos, you kind of notice I just kind of go into the next set, and I always kind of do that in general, but with these videos I try to do them, I try to work out even faster because the weights are light and I should be able to, but also, how fun is it for me to sit for a couple minutes between every set, especially if I'm not lifting heavy. I get if I have something to talk about, but it's better just to kind of keep going. Maybe I'm accidentally making myself more fit, which I mean, I'll take, because it makes these sessions easier and it makes me feel like I'm recovering between sessions, and it's giving me better like mentals day to day, because like I come in, I'm like, I'm sore, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to lift, and I do snatches, like I actually feel good. I actually can do all the things I had written down. And when you're kind of like gassed from a cardio standpoint, it's more difficult to get through every single exercise that you want to do and to do it in a timely manner. So kind of taking advantage of the fact that perhaps my fitness is improving, and by fitness like cardiovascular strength, and potentially that is allowing me to recover a bit better. Logically that makes sense, but it's also a balancing act, because like I'm not going to go and run all the time and tear at my knees, because I'm still, I didn't weigh myself this morning either. I'm still 235 or whatever, 236. I'm not going to go destroy my knees just to elevate my heart rate. And I don't really enjoy, crazy hard cardio, but I enjoy more of the steady state movement. But we're going to do pause power clean, pause clean, jerk, jerk. Do 70 and 110. Wiggle the back out. I've had people ask me like what I'm doing when I'm shaking my arms, if I'm like twitching. I'm literally just trying to keep my arms loose and trying not to just be so like tensioned in there. So I'm just literally just like wiggling my arms just so they're loose, I guess. So it's like you're twitching. I'm like, I don't think I'm on that much caffeine. Very good. The power might feel a little difficult on this one. We'll see though. And I don't measure it while I train, because I don't know how Clarence Kennedy wears glasses and a watch when he lifts, and how he did for all those years. But that would irk me. I can't do either. I've done a couple of like squatting sessions with glasses on, but a watch? That's crazy. It's actually insanity. I couldn't have something like that just chilling on my wrist. Even if it didn't get in the way or anything, just feeling it, the texture of it would just bother me to no end. But I don't measure my heart rate. Well, let's say I don't measure my heart rate or anything while I'm training. Obviously, I'm breathing hard, so it's getting elevated while I'm lifting. And I think I did it once after a rep set of squats, just to see like what happens to my heart rate. Obviously it goes up, but like mostly to see like how quickly it goes down. And in general, when you're training, when you're trying to think like, when are you recovered for your next set? It's generally when your heart rate's down. It's never going to get back to like what it was before you were training, especially if you're hyped up on caffeine and you know you have more, you have that anticipation. But if your heart rate goes to like 120 because you did a set and you're trying to do the next set when it's still at 100, like you're going to feel it. And that's where it's also like measuring it's not really that important, because it's like when you feel good enough, probably means your heart rate went down. And you can kind of extrapolate. It's kind of the same thing like why I don't use the accelerometer. People use that all the time, but like you should always be kind of trying to move the weight fast. Like there's very few times when you're trying to move intentionally slow. And anytime that I try to move fast and it feels like a grind, I know it's slowed down. The accelerometer is always, my rate of perceived exertion is very accurate to that. Even in weightlifting movements, if something feels bad, it usually, or moves slow or feels different, it correlates to that number. I've never been like, well, I've never had that like delusional perception. Obviously you have that when you see on like a video, at least for me, for like front squats a little bit, but a lot of the times front squat speed is never the problem. It's me being able to like maintain my front rack position. So that's not like, well, it moved fast. Like, yeah, I know it moved fast. It didn't feel like it moved slow, but it felt like I was gonna drop it off my shoulders. So it's a different kind of, I don't know, because I still have my little tool thing. It's just cumbersome to use, and the data is interesting, but it doesn't really inform training, for me at least. If it was just automatic, I guess, but I don't know. I think it's probably useful for like newer athletes, younger ones too, to kind of understand what speed or what, you know, exertion feels like. But I feel like once you've lifted enough years, you're not trying to move slow. I am slow, so I don't need the accelerometer to tell me that. All right, I'm ready. Pause power, pause, and then 2 jerks. Get it all centered back up. Jerks are feeling really nice too. Cleans just feel how they should, but the speed and the technique, the positions on the jerks are feeling really good too. I'm like surprised every day. It's like, I actually don't feel like I'm dying. I actually didn't explode. It's funny. It's like I'm wiring my brain. Maybe that's a good thing. Too much of a basket case as it is. I also am turning into pyrodemus and eating like a watermelon of the day. Not literally, but I'm eating a lot. It's kind of like my junk food fix. If I'm like, I really want Burger King or McDonald's, or really want something not healthy, like just eat as much watermelon as you want. It's not like it's sugar free or anything, but I would argue, and this is my hot take, that eating a massive bowl of watermelon is probably healthier than me getting pizza or something. I know, it's a bold take, but as a physical education professional, I would say a large amount of fruit is healthier than junk food. And if my goal is to generally lose weight, I should generally be avoiding those foods. But let's do a tactical reset so I can actually catch my breath. I put more of the back squat thrusters on today, but I'm going to take those off just so I can focus on the squats. Theoretically, I'll do my working sets at 150. I don't know if it'll irritate my knee or specifically quad tendon or not. We shall see. But we'll go 70, 120, 150 and do the sets of 5 there. It would just have been, what, 70, 110, 140 or something, then 150. So just do like more normal jumps and just squat. I did the push presses yesterday. I don't think I'm struggling to get extra work in at this point. And I kind of want to not do the thrusters, to be honest. I don't know if there's a ton of utility. I think they're just a fun exercise to do randomly, but I don't really want to keep doing them all the time. So we shan't. We shan't. No pulling today. Squats will suffice. I still had the option last week, or today, like last week, to do extra sets, like a triple at 170 after the working sets. But I mean, that's assuming nothing's achy. So we'll see how that all works. I mean, they don't feel great, but I'll definitely be able to do one set. We go one set at a time. Definitely have to keep in mind that I went heavy on squats yesterday for the singles up to 190, so if they don't feel great today, I kind of know why. We'll go ahead and try 150, see how it feels for the first set. And if, I'm achy in the quad tendon, or, the back's fine. Honestly, the other thing is my skin. It's one thing when you squat frequently, you get, at least for me, I get like, not like my neck muscle, but like literally the skin up there gets irritated from the knurling. Makes me want to go get a towel, but I don't want it to slip around. I'd rather tear up my skin than have a towel on there and have it feel like it's not. It would still, I guess, be on there. It's enough weight, but I also don't have a towel out here, so I'm just coping. But let's see if we can do 5. Last week we did them at 140. Yep. That was a fun set. Golly gee willikers. Oh, man, moved well enough, but I guess I just can't literally progress volume on the squats forever. It's doable though, almost unfortunately. I think it's that time of doing volume, like, maybe I just fail. Maybe this second rep feels too hard and I stop. No, my dumb self just grinds them out like an absolute buffoon. We'll see how the second one feels though. This right here, it's like, I don't think I'm basically ready to do the next set, cardio wise. And I think that's just a conditioning difference. I think that's one of the benefits of doing these videos and just training continuously. I'll be running marathons before long. As soon as I lose about 50 pounds. Even though at 180 I probably still tear up my knees running a lot. I've never understood the appeal of running. It sucks the whole time. Starting it's not fun. During it's not fun. And when you're done, it doesn't feel like you had any fun. I'd rather squat 70 kilograms for 2 reps every 10 seconds for an hour than to jog half a mile. I don't know if that's equivalent or not. I don't know what that equals to, but I jogged half a mile several weeks ago at this point, and it sucked the whole time. It was not fun. I never had the runner's high. I've never gotten that. Maybe that's why I don't like it. I've had the runner's high, I think, once, and it was in high school. We had to run 3 miles in a fitness class, and it didn't matter how fast we did it. I was like a mile and a half in, and I was like, I don't feel so bad. And then it felt bad after that. I had like 30 seconds where it's like, all right, I'm going. But like, that was it. And then I finished, and I was like, that's the runner's high that they're talking about. Like, that was a scam. That was an absolute bamboozle. Which I think that was 3 or 3.5 miles, but that was the furthest I've ever ran at one time. And it will almost certainly be the furthest I ever run. I will walk a marathon before I jog 3 miles. I will walk for 24 straight hours before I jog for 5 minutes. Oh. We'll see if this set of 5 feels fun. The only thing that's really probably going to limit me is if it feels achy on the quad tendon. Obviously if it gets too slow. Alright. Man, I could do the third one too. Oh. That sucks, I gotta do another set. So I wrote 3 instead of 2. A little more tactical reset. What an absolute scam. Bamboozled. Can't believe my legs are getting stronger. What an absolute scam. I feel like I've always been like this with volume as a weightlifter, to where it's like, man, I don't know if I can do the next set, and I do it, I'm like, damn it, I definitely can do I can definitely do them all. And it's like if I came and like did the first set and it was like I did a double and stopped, it was like, my legs are cooked. It's almost like relief because you don't have to do all the reps. And it sucks worse in kind of an oxymoronic way. You're like, I guess I actually wrote a correct number down. Wrote the correct number of reps. So you just have to get through them. But no, basically, well, that's the thing. Like, I'm being a bit facetious, but it isn't easy to do sets of 5. But like, once I do it, I'm like, I gotta actually definitely do the next one. It might get hard, but like, there's that like, well, I definitely can do it. It's just if I'm tough enough to do it. So it's important to gaslight yourself. What I'm saying is, it's an important skill. Really, I mean, honestly, unironically, for strength work, gaslighting yourself is actually a pretty effective strategy. Because like, what if I do 3 here and I stop? Or like fail the rep or whatever. Well, if I gaslight myself, I'm gonna do 5. Like, I'm gonna be annoyed, so I'm gonna say, well, I thought I could do 5. But if I, truly fail, I probably tried harder than I was going to get to 5. Versus like, I don't know, and go off speed or whatever. It's important to try to move fast, but it's also important to grind. Literally grind through reps and sets. I think that's a very underrated skill to have, no matter what sort of lifting you're doing. It's just the ability to grind and to be able to push through a difficult lift. So it allows you to do more difficult things in life, but also with training. If you can't grind, like literally grind through a hard lift, then you're just not man enough to do it. And there are some people that are, really fast, twitchy, and built, and they, as soon as it slows down, it stops. That's kind of like how overhead press is for me. So I get like that's not an end-all be-all type mindset for everyone to have, but like if you don't have the ability to grind through a hard pull, or like you see that, I see it with weightlifters more common than anything. It's like they have a deadlift and it slows down, slightly. That's how my buddy was with deadlifts. But like when you never train to grind through them, then anything that feels slower than your normal rep feels like it's super slow. But like until, and I think for pulls especially, it's like until you fail a rep and you were maximally trying it, you truly don't know what going to 101% is, and knowing that if you were 2% less weight on the bar, that you would have been able to get it through. And maybe it's not the smartest thing to do all the time, it probably isn't. But man, having that ability, that grit, it just makes training easier, because you know that you're gonna thug it out. It's like this, like I could just be done. 10 reps is good. Doing it with 150 kilos, that's good. No wraps or anything. I'm already happy. Snatch, clean, jerk well, but I'm gonna thug out this set. Man, I might thug out a triple at 170. You write something down and then you try to do it. That's all programming is. It doesn't have to be correct. It just has to be hard, progressively more difficult, and not ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna do 10 sets of 5. Like, of course I'm not gonna do that. Like, I just fail halfway through, I get gassed out. But the key is to pick the correct amount of sets, meaning that you have the mental capacity to do it, and it's not so physically daunting that you have to take 8,000 grams of caffeine and Blair Slipknot to do half the sets. I'm kind of doing the opposite of that right now, with less caffeine than I would normally have, and no equipment or music. But it's obviously a balance. And there's also a neurological idea, at least. Maybe it's not science, I don't know. But if you're getting hyped up all the time, it's not good, because you're just going to get burned out during the week. If you can kind of be focused and try hard, but like save that, I guess like Super Saiyan. The Ooga Booga is what I like to call it. You save the Ooga Booga, then you know that you can do more weight later. That's why RPE actually can be a bit of a scam sometimes, because like if you were like not fully, giving 8 out of 10 effort and it was hard, like knowing that like, well, if I threw all my equipment on and played music and got hyped up, it's like I definitely could do it. It's good to kind of know like that difference. RPE Ooga Booga. This one I do not want to be an Ooga Booga. Speaking of RPE Ooga Booga, I'm hoping that I'm not maxing out my exertion on this one. Well, we'll go ahead and do this set of fives. Yep. Easier than the last one. Which means we can do not a set of 5 with 170, but at least 1. 1 to 3. As my technique's getting better, more comfortable, I'm getting stronger. It's terrible. This is terrible. Imagine how dumb I am. I lift weights and then I add weight to make it harder the next week. Absolute. I should do less week every week and do it easier, make it easier. Why would you want to do something harder every week? Why would you want to just progressively make your life worse? It's like if I taught 7 classes in a day and every week I added another class, eventually I just have 50 classes. It's like, what are we doing? And I think I am just getting bit by bugs or something on my legs. Feeling some bug bites. Which makes sense. Me and my calves, they have a lot of blood in them. They're absurdly large, so I would imagine they look like a nice juicy T-bone steak to a mosquito. And my bug net isn't really that close. I haven't seen a lot of bugs though, to be fair. So the bug zapper thing does well. The net does a good job. I used to get really tore up by bugs out here at like this time of the year. When I didn't have that net there. Or the bug thing. And to me it's like, yeah, bug bites are annoying. But what I really didn't like is when the flies would be in here and just fly around me in the middle. And like, I can't deal with that. Like, that's just annoying to have when you're trying to lift and there's a big horse fly. I guess it wasn't a horse fly, but like a house fly, not a horse fly, but like a house fly that was just like a larger version of one that just circles around your head and just runs into you 50 times. So it does actually help with those. Plus all the spiders I have around. I try not to like disturb the spiders in here because they are my friend. But I mean, if they walk on the platform, it's a death penalty every time. And if they're like, there's a spider web on my bar, I'm sorry, your spider web's getting destroyed. I destroyed one. They keep doing a spider web in my bug light, which is honestly kind of hilarious because they realize, a bunch of little bugs fly towards the bug light, so they put the spider web like in the cage of it. And I saw a spider, I was cleaning out the bottom of all the dead bugs, and I saw a spider, and a spider flew a little too close to the sun and got zapped by it. But if they can figure out how to not touch the sun and collect all the bugs by it, they can feast. And that's fine with me, but whenever I clean it out, I destroy their web, I guess. But if the spiders are in my house, then I don't like them. They don't need to be in there. But out here, honestly, that's probably another reason, like the fact that there are a lot of spiders out here. That's probably one reason the bugs aren't too bad. They probably honestly do help a little bit. And I've been training the spiders through evolution. You know, any spider I see out is smushed, so they know once you see this, you know, fat sweaty guy out here, just hide. And then when he turns out the lights, you can go to town. And that's how I want it. I want them to do their job, and I don't want them to be seen. So, I don't know how many reps honestly I'll be able to do. I definitely can do one. My legs are going to be definitely fatigued from the 3 sets of 5. So I think what's probably going to happen is one of two things, is that I do the first rep and I just rack it and I go, that was really, you know, that was RP, ouchie. Or I do 2. I don't think I'll be able to do 3, but maybe do we ooga booga the last set? Do we go full ooga booga? Is that the strat? I think we might. I think we ooga booga. Let's do a tactical reset. So I think we ooga booga 1 set. No equipment though, just music. Which there was some research, someone was talking about the research that helps you do more reps, but not more weight. But that's not true. It has helped me do more weight many, many times. All that music is doing, really, mechanistically, from my understanding, from my personal experience, is it's helping to elevate your emotional state. It's helping to pump you up. It's the equivalent of someone like coming up and slapping you on the back or whatever. And for me, music has always been like such a impactful thing for me. Like I've always like been obsessed with it, I guess, in a sense. And I've always listened to it forever. Obviously, that's how most people are, but like I have a lot. Like if you go to like my playlist on YouTube, I have like 1,000 songs on it, and I could probably triple it with all the different songs I've liked over my life. And it increases your arousal, emotional arousal, and it's hard to measure that because people respond differently to music. If you like music but you're not like, it doesn't like give you the chills and you don't like get that like goosebumps feeling, then it might not have the same effect, and that's why it's hard to measure, because people respond different to music. Just like people respond different to any sort of other stimulus. Some people might have a very small amount of caffeine and get really anxious, or you're like me and you can have as much as a horse and you don't really feel it and you don't get any anxiety or any sort of twitchy or anything like that. So it all depends on how you respond to stuff. But yeah, music definitely allows me to do more reps, more weight, better pizza, Papa John's. Definitely would have stopped at 2. We get that arousal. We got pumped up. That part will probably be muted in the video, because I guarantee that song's copyright. But use music. Gives you wings. But I kind of broke my rule during the week, but I wanted to guarantee a 3rd. And maybe I could have done that 3rd without the music, but man, does it feel good to lift with music. I think that's an underrated thing too. Is like it just feels better to do a heavy lift with music playing. Good music playing. And good music obviously is subjective, but like any music you like, man, it feels good. It feels good to lift with it. And perhaps it's something that gets me just to not think as much. But I definitely think there's probably a scientific explanation that's probably related to like emotional arousal that allows me to just work harder. Probably similar to like ammonia when people sniff that. I've never done that. I've never once had ammonia and tried to lift. But maybe that's the next step. Equipment, ammonia, loud music, everything. But no, still did it without wraps and stuff. So I'm really happy about that. It moved well. Even the last one. And you know it's always a good sign when you do that last rep. And the music can be a double-edged sword. I got that last rep, I was like, yeah, let's do 5. Let's just do 5. And like, I have to keep the ooga booga part of my brain from allowing me to do too much. Because, you know, maybe I could have done 4. I really don't think I could have done 5. Like, being actually honest, I think it would have been extremely difficult. I could have strained something in my back. It would have just been ugly if I would have, maybe even the 4th one. But 3, it moved well. It felt good. I felt like I held my positions well. And for me with squats, that's always more important than trying to, you know, I talked about grinding out weights for 10 minutes and I'm like, it's important to not grind them. But like, you want to grind a weight out, but you want to do it with the correct position. So you don't want to grind out a weight and good morning and round your back over and do all sorts of crazy stuff. But you want to push to where you're grinding through it with proper technique as best as you can. Obviously things break down, but you don't want to compromise your technique to get more weight. You compromise the speed of the lift to get more weight, I guess, is what you want to change. But with that being said, another great session. One that I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to lift well today. I don't understand this like oxymoronic feeling, but I do feel like these sessions are working. The legs are getting stronger. The weightlifting stuff's getting easier. Apparently my fitness is getting better as well. Tomorrow is Thursday. I don't know exactly. I am trying to calibrate some things. I know Friday is going to be light and Saturday is going to be heavy. But I don't know exactly what tomorrow will look like. Maybe I'll do some of the snatch balances and stuff tomorrow. But the pauses I didn't do last week, so that was new. But just kind of figure things out and, you know, kind of mostly honestly keep the squats the same week to week, the days that I'm doing them, and pulls and stuff like that. And that seems to be working quite well. So we're not going to change anything with that, and keep trying to push them up and, you know, see how far I can progress them. And I don't know, training's fun right now, and that's it's a good feeling to have, to like feel like I'm doing productive sessions and getting better technique and recovering better, and still getting stronger. Obviously I'm not pushing the snatch and clean jerk during the week, but you know, last Saturday I still hit 115, 145 after lifting light in the snatch and clean jerk all week. So maybe that's just the key that I need to do and continue to push that. But with that being said, that's gonna be it for this one. If you made it to this point and listened to me ramble on this Thursday, or at least when I record this on this, or Wednesday, I keep thinking it's Thursday, on this Wednesday, I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Peace.